Welcome to the Daughter Arise channel. My name is Yvonne. On this channel, I share my experiences of going through childhood sexual abuse. I talk about the impact that trauma had on my life, the things I struggled with in the aftermath, things that I found encouraging. I also share news stories, information, and anything else that I feel will help people have more of an awareness about childhood sexual abuse. So if this is the type of content you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified of any new uploads. So in today's video, I want to share with you a book that I'm currently reading, and I'm planning to review it chapter by chapter. I do honestly believe this is a really important book for those of you who have gone through childhood trauma. Maybe you've gone through childhood sexual abuse, poverty, neglect, physical abuse, any type of adverse childhood circumstances. I think that this book may be a book that you're interested in. So the book is called The Deepest Well. It's by Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris. I bought this book last year and I paid about £9.30 for it on eBay. At the time when it came out, I think it was about £15, I'm not quite sure. And I got it because I was interested in hearing from Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris how childhood trauma affects children and how it affects you as an adult that's come out of those circumstances. So she is a physician. She has done a lot of work with families and children that have gone through childhood trauma. Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris is also CEO and founder of the Wellness Center in San Francisco, and she has based a lot of her work around this topic. So in this book, she shares her experiences of working with families who have gone through childhood trauma and working with children that have gone through childhood trauma. She has changed the names to protect their identities, but she does tell their stories. So right from the start, in the introduction of this book, we're introduced to Sarah and Evan, a married couple with 2 sons. Evan wakes up one morning and wants to go to the toilet, as you do, but finds that he can't even get out of the bed. He thinks it's a case of him having pins and needles, because that does happen when you sleep awkward, but it then soon becomes apparent that something is wrong because he can't move the left side of his body. He wakes up his wife Sarah and just asks her to help him to get to the toilet, but she then becomes alarmed because she can clearly see that he cannot move any of his body. She also notices in his face that he is droopy in the face, and also that he is slurring his words. Unfortunately, he does end up urinating on himself because obviously he's waited so long to try to get to the toilet, and it slowly starts to dawn on Evan that something is wrong, and he's reminded in his mind of an advert which talks about having a stroke. He's taken to hospital after his son calls an ambulance. They arrive within 5 minutes. And at the hospital, the doctor is asking his wife a series of questions about his health. You know, Evan is a really healthy man. He does mountain biking every weekend, has no serious illnesses, and has never been seriously sick. But what Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris is saying is there was something in his past that was not taken into a factor, and that is that he went through some type of childhood trauma. And Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris says that the apparent causes of strokes to do with things that are obvious are less likely to be obvious when it comes to things to do with deep buried childhood trauma. She then talks about how even with Horatio Alger, which is basically a saying that was named after a man by the same name who was born in about 1832, who arose out of poverty and overcome many adverse challenges in his childhood to become a successful person. Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris says even with Horatio Alger overcoming those difficult and hard circumstances and rising to the top in life, that the body can hold on to childhood trauma biologically, and that it can cause a number of physical health conditions that people hadn't even thought about. And I was reminded as I was reading that of some episodes I went through in my early 20s when I was under extreme stress and depression from going through childhood sexual abuse, where the left side of my body was completely weak. You know, it was such a terrible time. I had to go for MRI scans and different things like that. So I can definitely identify with some of the things that she's saying. But that is just the introduction of the book, and as I said, I'm going to be sharing each chapter with you So far so good. I'm liking what I'm reading and I'm learning something about this subject as well. I think it's important to know not just about the psychological effects that childhood trauma has on the body, but also the physical and biological effects as well. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I will be back on the next video. Take care.